Hi, I'm Sister Unity, and I'm going to give you a video that has adult content of a sexual nature. So if you are not of an appropriate age to be receiving adult information about human sexuality, then it is advised that you either get your parent or guardian's permission to watch this video, or you skedaddle and go on your way and watch something else, like, what's his name, Pew Pew guy. Last warning, adult content about to commence. Commencing adult content. There's a lot to say about sex ed, but I want to talk mostly to the LGBT community, particularly to same-sex sexual partners, because that's where most of my experience lies. The message I wanted to give you is that genitals come in an amazing variety of shapes, sizes, and colors, and that is okay. You are built the way you are built. And it's not a question of, is it attractive or not? Because I will tell you, at 55 years of age, there is someone who will be attracted to whatever and whoever you are. If you are very, very heavy, if you are very, very skinny, if you are very short, very tall, if you are disabled, if you are abled, if you are black, brown, yellow, purple, polka dotted, or plaid, if you are bald or you have hair in places that no one has ever even thought of putting hair, there is someone who is attracted to exactly who and what you are. And with a positive attitude about yourself, you will find them. You will bump into them. You think well of yourself. You think, I may not be on the cover of GQ magazine, but I'm sexy in my own way. If you carry that kind of confidence and happiness with yourself, they will come and find you. That's my experience. Penises. When you start enjoying sexual relations with penises, you will find that they come in all kinds of sizes and shapes. Some of them are wide at the bottom, and they have a small narrow head at the top. Some of them are pretty narrow all the way up, and then they have this sort of bulbous mushroomy head. Some of them have foreskins. Some of them don't have foreskins. Some of them with foreskins, the head pops out when the penis becomes erect, and it's like they didn't have a foreskin. Some of them always stay inside the foreskin even when the penis is fully erect. Some of them are physically unable to get the head outside of the foreskin. So when you play with the foreskin, remember that it's sensitive too, just like the head. If you are used to your own penis not having a foreskin, when you play with one that does, you might want to take into consideration the fact that the head of a penis with a foreskin is shielded a lot of the time, and so it may be extra sensitive. So before you go to town on it, pedal to the metal, doing 60, then just remember it may be more sensitive than yours is, and you're used to. So give it a little extra care, maybe with softer parts, the lips, the tongue, the hands, and find out how sensitive it is and what it can take. Talk with your partner and find out what feels good for them, so you know how intense or not intense to go on a penis that's different than yours. Remember, just a side note, remember it is always very important to talk about the medical history that you and your partner have. What's your HIV status? Do you have any STDs or STIs? When were you last tested for STIs and HIV? Know that so that you can make an informed decision about what you feel comfortable doing with the person. Or ask if they've taken certain precautions that you would feel comfortable with. Are they on PrEP? Are they using a condom? Etc. Are they undetectable? Etc. So not only are penises in varied shapes, and some of them will curve left, some will curve right, some will curve up, some will curve down, some won't curve at all. They're all good. For the curvy ones, I'll just tell you, the mouth and the throat is not a straight line. It's like there's a right angle-y thing going on there. It depends on how you move your head, like it lessens or so a curved penis is actually a kind of a blessing. If you go at it from the right angle, it slides in better because of the curve than a straight one might. Nothing against straight penises. They can slide in too. Just depends on how you angle your throat while you're doing it. And if you have a very strong gag reflex or a very narrow mouth, mouths come in all sizes and shapes too, then and you're not able to get the whole penis in your mouth as much as you'd like to or as much as you think your partner would like, what you can do is use a hand or even two hands with your mouth so that your hands are working on parts of the penis that your mouth is not necessarily being able to touch. And that way there's a full sensation for your partner. And you feel, or they feel like you're really giving them some very delightful fellatio, rather than just sort of an inch of fellatio if you have a shallow mouth or whatever, then, or you're uncomfortable, then it feels like the whole penis is being paid attention to. If you can't get the whole penis in your mouth, don't worry about that. Do not judge yourself. Do not feel that you're remiss or anything. If it makes you uncomfortable, don't do it. It's your sex. You are one of the two people, maybe more, who is there, and you get to say what you do with your body because it's your body. They don't get to say. They can ask, or maybe you set up ahead of time if you're doing a little sort of power play, role play thing. Set up ahead of time that they're going to make demands. But before you start, you set out your guidelines and your rules and what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. Or during, if they want you to do something, or maybe they push your head or they push you to do something like this or something, you can say, hang on, I'm not doing that. I'm not comfortable with that. But I will do this other thing that should feel good. Vaginas, also very differently shaped. Labia come in a million, probably, if there, whether was there 8 billion people in the world, there's 8 billion different, 4 billion different types of vaginas. Vulvas, of labia and vulvas. We've been using the word vagina incorrectly, I think. We've been using vagina to mean the whole area and organ. That's not the vagina. That's the vulva. The whole shebang is the vulva. The vagina is specifically the canal that leads from the vaginal opening up to the cervix, the opening to the uterus. That's the actual vagina. So you might want to be a know-it-all and tell your friends that when they're talking about a woman who has a gorgeous vagina, that they're actually describing the vulva, because you can't really see the vagina. It's inside. Asses, assholes, and colons come in completely different shapes and sizes, depths, curves, obstacle courses, and doohickeys within. You may find, if you're a top, that when you're having anal sex, that each ass is different and feels different. So you might want to let go of the idea of going in with an expectation of what anal sex will feel like, what fucking is going to feel like. It will feel different with each partner. That's been my experience. Some of them, the insides are built so that something is pressing up against just the right place on your penis, and it feels great. Others may not have that thing inside placed in the exact same place that the other guy had, and so you won't feel it. There have been anuses and colons that felt like nothing was happening and I wasn't touching anything. There have been ones that felt like there was a shelf of fleshy wonderfulness to rub up against. Some of them are tight and you feel like sensation of sort of gripping your shaft, and some of them are very, very loose and you feel sort of softer and wetter around your shaft and head. Each one is a different experience. And while you may have varying amounts of pleasure with each one, and that's to your taste, and you make your choices once you know that, but don't judge yourself or the other person if it affects your experience. It may just not be for you, or you may feel that you're not getting much sensation, so it's harder to maintain your erection. That's okay. That's just how things are. It is perfectly okay. And it is perfectly okay to admire an ass that is built in a way that gives you great pleasure. And it is perfectly okay to make different choices about asses that are not really a good fit in the same way. Some people totally get off while they're fucking on the idea that they're fucking, or that they're fucking that particular person. It may not even be the sensation of their penis. It may be that they're into that person. The person has a certain look, they're cute, or they've built up a relationship. And as my father taught me, sex with someone that you love is the most gratifying sex. Observe yourself while you have sex so that you can find out what are the things that you do like, what are the things that do turn you on, what are the things that you can then look for, and maybe talk in your partners in the future, or maybe talk to your prospective partners to sort of see whether or not you think that who they are and the way that they approach sex is something that is going to make you have a good time, that turns you on. Balls come in all sizes and shapes and consistencies, and people are very different about them. Some people don't want them touched at all. Some people want, you can touch them with your hand, you can even touch them with your mouth, but don't move them around, don't jostle them. If you're going to use them with your mouth, and just be very gentle. Some of them want you to treat them very, very roughly. Very roughly. There are people for whom that is a great thrill. So you can talk about it with your partner and see how they want them treated. Isn't it fun how different everything is? So many things to play with. The, the ultimate message that I'm trying to give you is that things will be different as you go along the road of sex. And don't get judgy about them. Just make your choices. I like this. That's not necessarily to my taste. But if you talk to your partner, and if you like your partner, usually you can accommodate any variation. And there's more to sex than just one activity. It may be your favorite, but find out what your partner likes. Talk about the sex. Talk about the sex you want to have. And then do that for each other so that both of you are turned on and feeling good and enjoying it. Because frankly, when one person is turned on, it makes the other person light up as well. So talk with your partner about what you want to do, what you like to do. And remember, all those body parts are going to be different. So when you go into a new session with someone for the first time, just remember to lay aside your expectations. Take things as you find them and enjoy them as they are. I hope you always have a good time and that sex is fun. As a therapist once said to me, sex is how grown-ups play. I hope you enjoy your play. I hope whether it is brief and fleeting and fun and one time only, that it brings you great joy. I hope that if it's with someone that you've been doing it with for many, many years, and you will do it for many, many years, and just with that one person, I hope it brings you profound discovery and joy. Have fun.